everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a video I never thought I'd be brave enough to make, but here I am. 47 weeks ago, I started a journey that has so far changed my life absolutely massively. I was struggling with my weight, like really struggling, and honestly, I was embarrassed for how far things had gotten in terms of my weight and what I was restricted to do. I kept how I felt hidden. Even the people closest to me didn't know some of the struggles that I was facing. But today, as of the 13th of April, I've lost a total of 172 pounds. That's 12 stone, 4 pounds here in the old money. I'm still going. I've done it with the help of mounjaro, commitment, because it's not one of those magic pills just to swallow, and quite a lot of personal growth, admitting that there were things that I needed to change. So this isn't a magic pill story, it's real life. It starts off in the summer of 2024, knowing that I had to do something to make sure that I could be the person I wanted to be. I've got highs and I've got lows. There's certainly a lot of wins in here, and there have been, like any good journey, those tough days. And I thought it's about time that I get behind the camera and share it, even if it's just for me to look back on, to make sure that when I'm at the weight I want to be, that I don't go back to where I was. So I thought I'd share it all on here, like lots of people doing right now. And, you know, there are times where I felt ashamed and I was stuck and overwhelmed. And I'm sure lots of others are feeling that same feeling that I have had and still have. So if that is you, you're not alone. Lots of us struggle with this. So if you're ready, let's rewind the clock and start from day one. This is my weight loss journey on mounjaro, and it is only the beginning. I've still got a long way to go, but it's going in the right direction. So going back to 2024, when I decided that I'd start this journey, my heaviest weight that was recorded was 441 pounds. That's 31 stone 7. Now, that's a lot for anyone, and it had got to the point where I was struggling to even get off the sofa. My knees were really struggling, and you can see in the picture that I'm going to put up here, hopefully, you know, my starting photo, the one that I sent to the pharmacist. I then later decided that luckily I have private healthcare, so I went through them and spoke to my doctor about it. I didn't want to have surgery, ultimately. So this was the best option for me. But as you can see, I wasn't living. I was alive, but I wasn't enjoying myself. I wasn't being able to go out and do the things that I really enjoyed doing previously. Now, a bit of backstory, I've always been a larger guy. You know, I cannot remember ever seeing the scales in my adult life below 20 stone, ever. So for me, it's let's set that as a target. Let's set a mini goal of trying to get to below 20 stone, and that would be absolutely massive for me. And so I decided, you know, I'd sign up to this and I'd do a 3-month spell. Now I realised that it doesn't work for everyone, and I was just hoping that it was going to work for me. So I started on the 17th of May 2025, so I'm coming up to nearly a year on it, and I'd been able to lose a little bit of weight by then. I'd got down to 429 pounds, which was 30 stone 9, and so for me, my first midterm goal was to try and get that 10 stone 9 off. Try and get below 20 stone. Something which I hadn't seen, like I said, for 20 years. You know, it's an absolute massive number on the scale. And it was really daunting. It was really daunting. But I persevered. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, it all went through unbelievably well. You know, I was, like lots of people that start this, I watched every YouTube video there was. I don't go on any other social media. So YouTube was really my only first point of call. And so this is my little bit to give back to everyone out there that's thinking about doing it. At the end of month 1, so 2.5 milligrams, I had no real side effects really. I had a metallic taste in my mouth, normally for the first day or 2 after taking the injection. And I'd managed to lose 26 pounds from that date. You know, 26 pounds is a massive number. 1 stone 12, nearly 2 stone in the first month. And I was just blown away, absolutely blown away. From my heaviest, I'm now, 38 pounds lighter, which, I was absolutely gobsmacked with. Of course, I hit the foods hard. I reduced my calories. I never had that full feeling. Yeah, that satiety. Wanting to stop, having 3 mouthfuls and not being able to eat anymore. I've never experienced that in my journey. What I have experienced is this lack of desire to eat. And that's the big thing. I haven't craved foods. And for me, I had such a sweet tooth. Cheesecake, yogurts, but the indulgent ones, not like your Muller Lite things. It was things that I could just gouge on all day. Savoury, I wasn't too bad, up to this point. My family were a big influence, and it got to the point where my brothers and I would have days of the week given to how we would have our food, growing up. We would have full fat Fridays, saturated Saturdays, and it was just takeaway after takeaway, full fat food after full fat food. And it was just a never ending cycle. And this jab was that first thing that gave me that real ability to go, look, Stephen, you don't need it. You're not wanting it, so why are you spending that money? And so, week 4 hit, and this is me. I don't look too different, but one thing I do say is the summer really helped. I like being outdoors, and having the summer months in my journey to begin with was certainly one of the big go-to factors. Like a lot of others, the advice is every 4 weeks titrator. Go up. Next dose. So of course, week 3, I ordered my 5 milligram pen, ready to start for week 5. And straight away, 5 milligram was absolutely amazing. It was the best I'd felt on taking these injections. For the full month, 5 milligram was so controlling for me. And that's the tool I needed. It's this idea that I'm not relying on food anymore because I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, because I was tied to what I wanted in my fridge. I didn't have those feelings. And because of the profession I'm in, I get periods of time where I am out of routine. And routine for me is key to stay focused. And so when I was on Slimming World, and I've done Weight Watchers, and I've tried doing reduced calories, and nothing worked, because as soon as I got out of the routine, the old habits came back. Not with mounjaro. And so by the end of the second pen, when I'd finished 5 milligrams, I'd lost a total of 54 pounds. Now, 54 pounds isn't a big jump up. It's 3 stone 12. I mean, I broke the 400 pound barrier. I'm now weighing at 387 pounds. You know, seeing what was happening before me, this initial 3-month trial is going full blaze. And yes, people are going, you're losing it too fast. I had a lot of weight to lose. I still do. And actually, I needed to lose it fast to be able to get up, to be able to move, to try and, you know, do the things to help that jab. And that's the thing for me. It's keeping a routine, getting myself active, and being able to put myself out there more than I had done for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I was able to do that. By July, I had gone to Disneyland in Paris. And that was a real wake-up sign. Yes, I was now 3, nearly 4 stone lighter. But I was still struggling. I couldn't walk for long distances. And the group I was with, the adults were telling me to go off and go and explore the park. But all I wanted to do was just stay at that table and be that base point for the kids that we took with us. I was like, no, you go off. It's fine, honestly. I'll just stay here. I'll enjoy it. I like people watching. Deep down, I wanted to go round. I'd never been to anywhere like Disney before. And yet I couldn't in myself walk around that park because of my weight, because I was so exhausted. Trying to keep up with everyone was taking all of my energy, and yeah, I was having some real successes, but I was still struggling in everyday life. My step count was incredibly low, but I was starting to move more and more, and the more I moved, the stronger my legs got, and I was able to do more. But Disney was that big wake up. So, what I've got, I'm having some big losses. Week 8, I lost 7 pounds. 8 weeks in, and I'm still having those elements. And of course, week 7, I was there ordering, as always, titrating up to the next one, my 7.5 milligram. And we started it. And yet, I take my first injection of 7.5, and I didn't feel anything. I was so blown away with what 5 had done for me and was doing. And if only I knew back then that I should have stayed on 5 for another month. Because 7.5, I didn't feel it. I had to work so hard in that month. And then I started thinking about rotating where I inject. I was typically in the belly. And I tried my arm, and I started to get the feelings I had previously. And that's one of the things that if I could go back 47 weeks ago, and said, Stephen, rotate your sights. It will help you in those points where you're struggling, then absolutely I would do. But week 8, 47 pounds lost, 42 pounds lost, I don't know what have I got. 42 pounds from my starting weight, 54 pounds from my heaviest. Straight on to 7.5. And like I said, I was struggling, but I go through the cycles. I do what I need to do. I start moving more. I get myself a treadmill. And I make sure I start walking every single day. And this is where the summer really played an important part in what I was doing. I was able to be outside. I wasn't ready to put myself out there publicly to go walking, which was free. It's one of those exercises that you don't have to pay a gym membership for. But I wasn't confident in myself to go, you know what, I'm going to put my trainers on and just walk around the streets. I couldn't do it because I knew if I got to that stage, half a mile away, 500 metres away, and my ankles, which were like glass, stopped and I couldn't move, I'd be stuck. So a treadmill was ideal for me, just to fold it down, get on it, do the steps. And that really helped me. It really pushed me through. And so by the time we go through, week 9, I lost 2 pounds. Week 10, I lost 3 pounds. Week 11, another 3 pounds. And by the end of my 7.5 milligram, I'd lost another 5 pounds. And so by the end of my third pen, 12 weeks in, I'd lost 55 pounds from my starting weight. 3 stone 13. I'd lost 67 pounds. 4 stone 11 from my heaviest weight. And I couldn't believe what was going on. There was parts of me going, maybe I'm paying so much for this that I'm forcing myself to eat differently and the jab's not really working. But I've got to show to myself that I can lose the weight. And I just couldn't bring myself round to the idea that I was doing it. I'd lost 4 stone 11, which was, it's a massive number. And every time I was losing, I was just going, oh, let's get to that next level. By the end of week 12, I got to 374 pounds. And that was a number I hadn't seen since before COVID. I was literally blown away. And so, I mean, you can't see it too much. There is definitely a change in my face shape. And one thing I will say, that if you're watching this and you're trying to start your journey, or you're thinking about starting your journey, or you're on your journey, take measurements, take body pictures. I was taking headshots, and well, still am only taking headshots, because that's the one thing for me, the chin area, seeing a chin. I had facial hair because I just had such a round face. And now, I mean, this stubble is as long as it gets most of the time. I was trying to hide myself away. And that's the bare truth that I can say right now. Not at my finished point, but certainly in a point where I am so much better than what I was. Anyway, end of week 12, I did something that others had been doing. I took that 5th dose. Luckily, the pen was really easy to turn, and I was able to turn the pen an extra dose and do that one. And to my surprise, that 7.5 5th dose, again, I lost another 3 pounds. And actually, whilst the pens are only designed for 4 doses, being able to split the cost of a pen between 5 is massive. But anyway, again, titrating up. Week 11, I'd ordered my 10 milligram because that is what we are told to do. We are titrating up every 4 weeks. 2.5, 5, 7.5. 7.5, I struggled. The noise in my head was coming back, wanting different foods. And so I was really holding out for 10, really holding out. Took my first 10 injection, and I lost 4 pounds the following week. I mean, again, I'm losing consistently, but to lose 4 pounds, and then I lost 1 pound, and then I lost 5 pounds, and now I'm averaging around 13 pounds a month. A stone a month nearly is what I'm losing after 4 months. And it's absolutely unreal in terms of the changes that I made. And so we get to week 16, I've had 1 7.5 and 3 10, and this is me. I'm starting to feel more confident in myself. My cheeks are not as puffy as they had been. And I'm starting to see the Stephen that I remember being back at university. I was certainly being a bit more outgoing and trying to get out and about into the community. I was forcing myself to take the car to the beach to try and walk along the coastline, because the summer holidays for me, and this is where the summer holidays hit, I'm out of routine. I get 6 weeks of where I'm not going into work between 6 and 7 a.m. and staying till 5 p.m. I've got all that time to sabotage my journey. So I had to go out, and that treadmill was wonderful to get those steps up. On those days where I couldn't get out or I didn't feel confident enough to go put some shorts and t-shirt on to try and get out and about, it was massive. Again, my exercise isn't huge, but I was doing bits and pieces and I was trying to be more active. I tried to go out and have a couple of nights away. And these are the things that I wouldn't have done a year before. I wouldn't have done 4 months before. I was planning a trip for work to take some students away. As a teacher, the best thing you can do is to take those kids out of those classrooms and get them into that sort of the real world, to link to the topics you're teaching them. And so I took myself off to Berlin and I did the itinerary that I had planned for them to know exactly what was going on. And there were days where I was struggling because the walking was so much. But I went and I did it, and I would not have done that 12 weeks, 16 weeks earlier. And I felt really good on 10, really good. We get to week 16 and I'm feeling great. And I stay on 10 milligrams. That next pen was absolutely key. Week 16, by the end of it, I'd lost 68 pounds from my starting weight, 4 stone 12, nearly 5 stone off, but a massive 80 pounds, 5 stone 10 from my heaviest weight. And it's absolutely unreal in terms of what is happening. And I'm so dedicated to what I'm trying to achieve now. But this is where things start happening, because then I go back to work in September and people haven't seen me for 6-7 weeks. And they're going, Stephen, absolutely amazing. You look so different. And I shy away. I'm like, don't talk to me about weight. I'm trying to change myself, to make myself healthier, to make myself back to the confident person I was. And I did used to be really confident. But don't talk to me about my weight. I don't want these compliments that you are paying me, because in my head somewhere it's saying, God, I was ugly. I must have been so fat that they didn't know who I was or what I was doing. And now they're saying, look, we see this massive transformation. And it was a compliment. And looking back now, 48 weeks since starting, and I take every compliment I can get. But right then, I was embarrassed that I was so big. And I still was big when I went back in September. But there have been people that I hadn't seen since the very beginning of my journey. And they were blown away. And I didn't want to talk about it. There was one person at work that I told about what I was doing, how I was doing it. And they were so supportive. And they were, and still are, my rock in terms of what was going on. But I stay on 10 milligrams. Week 17, week 18, £3 a piece. Week 19, £4. Week 20, I lose another £5. And in that month, I lose £15, over a stone in 4 weeks being on 10 milligrams. And it is working absolutely amazing. We get to week 20 and this is what I look like there. Against my starting picture, I look miserable. I don't do pictures, right? And certainly, I don't smile. Very rarely do I smile. But now I feel myself smiling a bit more. But again, I'm starting to see the old Stephen. And that's key. because that's the motivation I need. I'm back in a routine now where I'm working Monday to Friday. I'm doing my jab on a Friday night because if I have any side effects, which I still don't have, the metallic taste is gone now by the time I take my 10 milligram. I get a bit sleepy on the weekends, which is why I do it on a Friday night, because that gives me Saturday and Sunday to get over whatever happens. But by Monday, I feel great. And this is where things start to change for me. Week 21, I stay on 10 milligrams for another pen. But I don't feel the injection for the first couple of days. I then start feeling it day 4 and day 5 and day 6. And so where I thought the weekend where I don't have a routine is the best time to take the pen Friday night, because Saturday and Sunday, it was that full fat Friday, the saturated Saturday, the sinning Sunday, all these days where I would go and visit my mother and my brother's living in the old family home. And they'd be like, oh, let's just have Domino's, let's have Pizza Hut, let's have a curry tonight. That's when I wanted the injection to work, to get rid of those noises in my head going, Stephen, just order whatever you want, enjoy it. And it wasn't working. It wasn't kicking in until the Tuesday and the Wednesday. And so I've had to really change how I see food. And I go, you know what? All right, if we're going to have pizza, I will have the smallest one on the menu, or I'll share and have 3 slices of yours. I won't deny myself anything, because the one thing I do know is that when I've done Weight Watchers and Slimming World and calorie counting and a shake diet, all those things, it's when I say, Stephen, you're not having it. You can't have it. And then I go and binge. And that's what I hadn't done up to this point. I hadn't binged. And that was massive for me. And so the way I said, to myself, and I do talk to myself all the time, and as you can see so far into this video, if you're still watching, absolutely I talk a lot. But I have to learn to say no, or I have to learn to say, that's enough. I'll have a small portion, but that will do. And that's a big part of who I'm becoming and who I am. Anyway, week 21, £4 off, 22, £4 off, 23, 2, 24, £1 off. I have, by the end of week 24, hit over £106 off from when I started. I'm starting to see a very different person. £106 is 7 stone 8, 7.5 stone gone from carrying on my knees and my ankles and being able to stand up for longer periods of time and walk about longer and see what the world is doing around me, as opposed to just sitting on the sofa and watching TV. And this is just halfway through where I'm up to. £94 from my starting weight lost, 106 from my heaviest weight, and I am feeling amazing, but I don't want it to stop there. And so I stay again another month on 10 milligram because it is giving me that massive punch. I'm not wanting all that food that I'd wanted previously. And by the time I've done week 25, £6 off, week 26, 3, 27, £3, week 28, another £5. I've lost £17 in this month. And you know what? This is the first time that when I take a headshot that I'm smiling. I've lost, by this point, £111 from my starting weight. 123 from my heaviest. 8 stone 11 gone by 28 weeks worth of using Mounjaro, looking at my way I'm eating, the foods that I'm eating, the types of foods, trying to build up that protein and trying to reduce the carbohydrates, and just looking at all those different things, adding extra fibre. I'm not a fussy eater. I eat anything, really. But my problem was quantity. and frequency. And now I'm having 3 meals a day, which I never used to do. It was literally used to be nothing for breakfast, nothing for lunch, and an absolute huge evening meal right before I go to bed. Whereas now I have breakfast, I have a small lunch, and I have an evening meal long before I even think about going to bed. And that's a massive change for me. I don't want the biggest pile of food because that just makes me nauseous. I don't want to see it. If I do, it puts me off it. But I was still having that amazing feeling of the mounjaro working. I had 1 shot left and it was, out of the pen, that magical 5th dose. And by that point, I decided, look, I've tried it. I've done 4 pens now at 10 milligrams. I probably should go up. And so I ordered the 12.5. And again, I kept feeling the same things. And the only one to this point, by week 29, was 7.5 that, yes, I was still losing weight on it, but it was the only dosage that didn't work for me. So what we end up with is week 28, that 111 pounds, 123 lost. I then start feeling even better about myself. Week 29, I lose 3. Week 30, I lose 2. Week 31, I lose 7. And then week 32 hits. Week 32 for me was that one that was going to make or break me. I had a £2 gain. Now, I'd lost £7 the week before, and not in my wildest dreams after 31 weeks should I still be losing £7. So to put 2 on, it wasn't the end of the world. And to see by week 32 that even with that gain, I'd lost £121, 8 stone 9 from my starting weight, £133, 9 stone 7 from my heaviest. And this is where I really start seeing it now. But my sleep really starts to be affected. 12.5 for me, and I can only put it down to the jab. Week 12.5 really starts breaking my sleep up. I mean, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night anyway, but that used to be solid sleep. Now it's broken up into hour or 2 hour chunks, and it's every single night. Even today, as of the 13th of April, I have broken sleep. And so I probably need to look at taking a new supplement. Lots of people on other YouTube videos, the Countess of Shopping is one that I've been following non-stop. Pushes magnesium, and that's something that I might look into. But I take my multivitamin every day, and that's probably helping with certain things, but sleep is still a problem. Week 36, I think you can probably see that sleep is starting to have an effect on me. But by this point, I'm down, by week 36, sorry, I've got all the notes here, week 32? Week 32, I had that £2 gain, but £121, £133, I stay on 12.5 for another pen. And actually, I stay on 12.5 for a lot of pens from that point on. Week 33, I lose 2. Week 34, I lose 5. Week 35, it strikes again and I put £3 on. But week 36, I lose 4. And so, yes, I might have gained, but I've still lost £8 for that month. And I fully expected my weight loss to slow because, after losing £129 from my starting weight, £141 from my heaviest, 10 stone I have got rid of, I'm now below that number, very nearly what I wanted to be. By week, I'm at 21 stone 6. Which is unbelievable in itself. From where I started, seeing those numbers in 30, in the 400s for pounds, in 30s for stones, to get to 21 stone 6. I stay on 12.5 again for the next month. And I go lose 2, lose 7, maintain. No gain, no loss, but it's a maintain. And I then lose 4, taking the total month to £13, the average that I have been losing consistently from the very beginning. And again, there's not many differences between what's going on. Week 41, I lose £1. 42, 4. Week 43, I lose 5. And week 44, I lose 1. Again, all on 12.5 milligrams. And no side effects. I am very clearly having one of these super responder reactions to this injection. So by the time week 44 gets here, I'm down to £276. That's 19 stone 10. And that was my first mini goal. I wanted to be below 20 stone, which I hadn't done for nearly 2 decades. Certainly before university. And that for me, even now, was a real sense of achievement. And there's going to be people out there going, yeah, but you're still 19 stone 10. That's twice what I weigh. And yeah, that's fine. But I've lost over a third of what I was. Over a third. And so we get to week 44. And this is what I weigh. Week 41, I lose £1, I lose £4, I lose £5, I lose £1, £11, and I'm down to that 19 stone. 19 stone. I lost 153 from my starting weight, which is 10 stone 13. I've lost 166, 11 stone 12 from my heaviest. And I am smiling now, and this was week 44. That was 4 weeks ago. And I'm feeling really good about myself because I've got through winter, that time where you just need to find comfort in whatever you can, because it is in England dull and dark and damp and miserable. And food used to bring me joy, but not anymore. I don't look at food and go, that's going to make me happy. I still have lots of guilt. That's absolutely true. But I'm on the right path. And now I've set a target to go, right, let's drop below 19 stone. And I'm going to do it in 1 stone margins. So week 45, I lost £3 on 12.5 again. I'm still on 12.5. Week 46, £3. Week 47, this last week, weighing on Saturday, I lost £1. So I've lost £7 in 3 weeks. And if I can lose another 1 because I'm on holiday, I'm out of routine, that still hasn't changed. If I can lose another 1 or maintain, that would be an absolute dream. And as of this morning, or as of yesterday morning, I was down to £269, 19 stone 3. I'm £3 away from my next goal. And then it will be down to 18. And I've set myself a longer term goal. I've got 5 weeks for my 1 year anniversary. And in that 5 weeks, I wanted to be at 18.5 stone. £259 is where I want to be. But £10 in 5 weeks is doable. But I just need to make sure I'm in the right space. And ultimately, my plan is 21 weeks. 21 more weeks to lose £38. And if I can do that, I will be down to an astonishing 231. 16.5 stone. And for me, someone who has been obese, morbidly obese, 31 stone just 48 weeks ago, to be down to something 16 stone 7, something that I probably haven't been since high school. And we're talking 25 years ago. I would be absolutely blown away. So this is my journey. This is what I've done. Starting from week 1 at 441 as my heaviest, 429 for my starting weight back in the 17th of May 2024, to where we are today, the 13th of April 2025, with 2 gains, 1 maintain, and I've still got a long journey to go. Now, this has been an incredibly long video, and I'm hoping that I will get around to doing weekly videos on what I'm hoping to do, what I'm planning on doing, some of the meals that I'm eating, like everyone else is doing. And hopefully, if you've made it this far, feel free to subscribe and keep following. But please, the one thing that is really important, don't judge your loss on mine. I have been incredibly lucky in terms of reacting to this medication really well. I had the weight to lose in terms of starting at that stupidly high number that I never want to see on the scale again. And there are some people who want to do it for 10, 15 pounds. For me, it was making that massive change so that I could be more active and be the uncle that I want to be, and to be that teacher who's leading those kids into a future where they can see me being more active than I had ever been before. It's me becoming the best person I can be, going into my mid to late 30s, into my 40s, and having no health conditions because of my obesity. So feel free to subscribe if you want to continue watching this journey. I mean, I've got at least another 21 weeks, hopefully 21 videos to come. But this is my journey so far, and it's only going to get better. Thanks for watching.